Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting of the House Human Services Committee to order. As a reminder, this session is being recorded, so I will ask the members if they would take a moment to please silence their cell phones. Additionally, there is a sign-up sheet at the front table, so any members who didn't sign in when you arrived, please just take a moment and make sure you sign in before you leave. Amanda, would you please take the roll?
Sure. Chairman Williams,
Here.
Rep. Bellman,
Designation?
Rep. Benham,
Here.
Rep. Serrato,
Here.
Rep. Giral,
Designation?
Rep. Green,
Designation?
Rep. Harris,
Designation?
Rep. Khan,
Designation?
Rep. Kincaid,
Designation?
Rep. Mays,
Designation?
Rep. Otten,
Designation?
Rep. Prokopiak,
Designation?
Rep. Rivera,
Designation?
Rep. Venkat,
Present.
We still
Rivera's
have to,
online.
we still have to do the designation, even though she's online.
all right. Rep. Venkat,
Here.
okay. Chairman Heffley,
Present.
Rep. Anderson,
Here.
Rep. Baseline,
BBD.
Rep. Flick,
BBD.
Rep. Flood,
BBD.
Rep. Hogan,
BBD.
Rep. Labs,
BBD.
Rep. McKenzie, Rep. Pugh,
Here.
Rep. Reichard,
BBD.
Rep. Schlegel,
BBD.
and Rep. Weakneck.
BBD.
Amanda, thank you. We have a quorum. The first item on today's agenda is House Bill 749, and we are joined by the sponsor of the bill, Representative Mattson. I make a motion to consider the bill. Is there a second? Thank you, Representative Serrato. Ashley, would you please explain the bill?
House Bill 749 amends Act 21 of 1967, known as the Human Services Code, in public assistance, providing for distribution of SNAP benefits.
Thank you, Ashley. Representative Mattson, would you like to share some remarks?
Yes, I would, Chairman. And thank you so much for the committee to gather today to consider the bill. This legislation aims to evaluate and improve the distribution of SNAP benefits in Pennsylvania. Unlike many other states that have streamlined their schedules, Pennsylvania continues to operate under varying distribution schedules, creating logistical challenges for both recipients and retailers. Under this bill, the Department of Human Services would be required to periodically review and assess the SNAP distribution schedule to ensure it effectively meets the needs of those who rely on these benefits. I understand that there is interest in keeping this committee informed throughout the process and ensuring access to the analysis, particularly if changes to the distribution schedule become necessary. I'm happy to work with the chairman on a floor amendment to ensure that the Human Services Committee receives these evaluations, providing a clear understanding of the department's efforts and keeping you informed of the process and associated costs should adjustments to the payment schedule be required. I encourage your support of this legislation.
Thank you, Representative Mattson. Chairman Heffley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for bringing this bill to before the committee. I understand the legislation, the goal is something that we really need to take a look at. And I appreciate your willingness to work on an amendment on the floor to just to make sure we have some transparency in that and some oversight. So I would encourage my colleagues for an affirmative vote on this because it is an important issue that we need to address. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are there any additional discussions on the bill? Representative Kincaid.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this is an incredibly important bill at this point when we're facing down SNAP being potentially cut $230 billion at the federal level, and the reality that the average SNAP recipient receives $6 a day. We really need to be looking at how it is that we are spending those dollars and how it is that we can most effectively address food insecurity in our Commonwealth, because food insecurity is only getting worse. It is worse now than it was during the pandemic. And so if we are not taking this seriously, then we are failing the most vulnerable Pennsylvanians. And this is a really important first step in making sure that we are actually addressing an issue that just shouldn't exist in the wealthiest nation on earth. So thank you to Rep. Mattson for bringing this up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Any further discussion on the bill? With no further discussion, I'm going to call the roll. Are there any negative votes on the bill? Seeing no negative votes, the bill passes out of committee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative. The second bill under consideration today is House Bill 640. I'd like to make a motion to consider the bill. Do I have a second? Representative Venkat, thank you so much. Ashley, would you please explain the bill?
House Bill 640 amends the Administrative Code of 1929 to update the annual reporting requirements for the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs to the General Assembly.
Ashley, thank you. Thank you. I just want to encourage their support of the bill. The Department of Drug and Alcohol Program plays a vital role in advancing treatment and recovery efforts across the Commonwealth. As DDAP's responsibilities expand and its initiatives evolve to address emerging drug threats, these reports will enable this committee to better support their critical work. And so on the bill, is there any discussion on the bill? Chairman Heffley.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for bringing this legislation before us and introducing the bill to provide greater transparency to DDAP's efforts. I fully support it. I would encourage all my colleagues to do the same.
Thank you, Chairman. Is there any further discussion? Otherwise, I'm going to call the roll. Are there any negative votes on the bill? Seeing and hearing no negative votes, House Bill 640 is reported from Human Services Committee. Thank you. Next on our agenda is consideration of House Bill 269. The final item on today's agenda, I make a motion to consider House Bill 269, sponsored by Representative Venkat. Do I have a second? Thank you, Representative Serrato. Ashley, would you please explain the bill?
House Bill 269 amends Act 64 of 1972, known as the Controlled Substance, Drug, Device, and Cosmetic Act, providing for opioid overdose awareness materials.
Ashley, thank you. Representative Venkat, would you like to share any remarks regarding the bill?
Thank you, Chair Williams, and thank you to the committee and Chair Heffley. I also want to start by thanking and recognizing that my co-prime sponsor on the legislation, Representative Flick, is online, and I've been very appreciative of his leadership on this effort. Obviously, the opioid crisis continues to affect our Commonwealth, and the idea for this legislation came from my constituents, Sherry Jo Matt and Tom Bott in Franklin Park, who lost their daughter Sienna to an accidental drug overdose. And what we know is that knowledge is power. And Sherry Jo and Tom have turned their grief into action through the Stop the Judgment project that has looked for ways to publicize how we can empower the public related to the opioid crisis. And the posters that are discussed in this legislation, their idea actually came from the state of Florida, which has already done this. And this legislation would empower the Department of Health, along with the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs, to be able to distribute this poster in public facilities, as well as offer it to be available in private facilities so that the public can be empowered to recognize and understand what a opioid overdose looks like, how to respond, and obtain further information, including how to obtain naloxone, which hopefully we are having in a widely public available way to respond. I have naloxone in my car in case that I see someone with an opioid overdose, and we certainly need to empower the public in this regard. So I appreciate the leadership of my colleague, Representative Flick, on this legislation as well, my constituents from Franklin Park, and I humbly ask for an affirmative vote.
Thank you, Representative Venkat. Is there any discussion on the bill?
Yes, sir.
Representative, go ahead.
I just want to say I think the intent of this bill is fantastic. I think it's pure and I think it's sincere. Working with young people and teenagers for 30 years of my life every single day. I understand how critical it is to address this problem. I have no problem contributing or dedicating funds to help confront the opioid crisis. Just not sure or convinced how much these posters are going to put a dent into the crisis itself. So I am going to be a no vote based on, I just think that we could put our resources towards some more beneficial efforts. But I do thank the sponsor and those who put their time into this bill, because I think it's incredibly important that we address it and confront it.
The chair thanks the gentleman. Any further comments? Then I'll defer to Chair Heffley.
Thank you, Chairman, and I thank the prime sponsor of the bill. Last session, I noted my concerns about the bill and imposing these obligations on entities named in the bill. Since then, there was language added last session to this proposal to provide some flexibility. As we review the overdose statistics and see declines, we must be mindful of emerging drug trends as usage may move from opioids to meth to cocaine and other dangerous substances. Our education efforts must be ready to address those trends. I will support House Bill 269 in this committee, primarily because of that language that was added providing flexibility last session.
Thank you, Chair Heffley. Amanda, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Chairman Williams,
Yes.
Rep. Bellman,
Yes.
Rep. Benham. Yes. Rep. Serrato,
Yes.
Rep. Giral,
Yes.
Rep. Green,
Yes.
Rep. Harris,
Yes.
Rep. Khan,
Yes.
Rep. Kincaid, Rep. Mays,
Yes.
Rep. Otten,
Yes.
Rep. Prokopiak,
Yes.
Rep. Rivera,
Yes.
Rep. Venkat.
Yes.
Chairman Heffley,
Yes.
Rep. Anderson,
No.
Rep. Baseline,
Yes.
Rep. Flick,
Yes.
Rep. Flood,
Yes.
Rep. Hogan,
Yes.
Rep. Labs,
Yes.
Rep. McKenzie, Rep. Pugh, Rep. Reichard,
No.
Rep. Schlegel,
Yes.
and Rep. Weakneck.
Yes.
With the majority voting in the affirmative, House Bill 269 is reported out of committee. Thank you. Seeing there are no further business before the committee today, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you so much.